let go of your arms now, making sure that the backs of the hands are facing out. And this is how I'd like you to be in our standing position for our movements that we do here on out standing. So let's move into some arm circles, keeping this tall vertical step. We're going to put our hands in a golfer's grip, so fingertips to the palms of the hands, thumbs are pointing forward. We're going to keep this. One more. We're going to be here for about a minute, so take your time. Each time you go to the other side, you could probably go a little lower, working into what we would want to come maybe all the way down. Get about 10 more seconds of this, so keep stretching. So if you can come to this type 90 degree angle, 90 degree angle. If this is too hard on your knees, go ahead and put that block underneath. It brings the floor closer and it definitely helps with how hard the ground can be. So I'm going to face you so you can see what I'm talking about with my hips. So you might want to notice if your hips are kind of, if this is a hip height here, and try and lower that down first. So we want to have even hips here. And then we want to tuck the tailbone under. And you're going to feel the stretch that we're going for here. So the front of this thigh and the hip flexor. And then it's truly up to you if you need to enhance the stretch by maybe leaning forward or grabbing your foot behind you or just leaning back, whatever you need to do to stretch this part that we just worked out. So I'll face this way. Just tipping the tailbone for me gives me a really nice stretch here. And then before we move on to the other side, and again, put the block in if you need the ground closer, we're going to just do 5 mini lunges. So you can go from a straight, go straight up, but remember how I cue up, if you bend forward at the hips here, you put all your weight over this front foot. The back foot is just a kickstand with your toes tucked. You can lean up like this, and it's a lot easier. You can interlace your hands on your thigh to make it easier. So really take this to whatever level you want. If you're advanced, you could come all the way up. Just about 2 more. Okay, and last one, and then we'll switch sides. So once again, opposite foot is in front. The goal here is to stretch the opposite leg's quad and hip flexor. I like to tuck my toe, but do whatever feels right for you. Make sure those hips are even. So if this hip is up, drop it down, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone under. You're going to feel that nice stretch in the front. From there, it's really up to you to make it your own. If you want to lean into it this way, stretch up, however you want to do it. Reach back. And then we'll do the 5 lunges. So we're going to all tuck our toe because that's going to give us stability on the back leg. You're either going straight up from here, or you want to bend forward and kind of lean forward like this. Let me caution you though, if you're bending forward, keep your gaze ahead. That will help you from falling forward. Your body's going to go, your body follows your head. So if you're looking down, you might fall forward like that. So look ahead so that you can come up. Whatever your level, we've got about 2 more. Use your feet to really engage with the floor, give you more balance and stability. All right, that's the floor. And just kind of try and straighten at our elbows and feel a really nice stretch. This might be enough for you, but if it's not, you can curl those fingers in. And then you can even even play with pulling those shoulders down and away from the ears. Just really feeling the stretch there. Just taking a few breaths here. We're also sitting on our heels, which is stretching our ankles as well. From all this tucked toe, we're getting the opposite in the ankles. Okay, moving on, we're going to do some hip lifts. Our wrists are below our shoulders and our knees are below our hips. Our fingers should be spread and trying to engage with the floor, gripping the floor, and kind of turning out so that those shoulders stay locked in. If you have issues on your wrists, go ahead and go on your forearms for this. Let's all extend our right leg and cross it on the outside of that left leg. Tuck your toes. And we're going to pause here as we kind of lean back into this stretch. It's going to be like a nice, kind of odd stretch that I don't normally feel doing other things. So we're going to be doing reps of this. You don't have to stay there this long, but this is what we're doing when we're over here. And we're going to bring up and tap on the side, wherever you want to tap. So that's the move. Let's do 10 of these. So we're going over, tucking the toes, stretching, lifting, and tap. Getting our hip cars in, side of that right foot, right leg. We're going to tuck our toes and then push back through the heel to get a really nice stretch. Kind of going up the center of the foot, like up the Achilles. And then we're going to bring it out like a rainbow and tap on the side of the body, wherever you can get to. And then we'll do 10 of these. So pause for the stretch. Top position. Now, if you really do have issues with your wrist, you can go down here, but of the two, I would say this one you want to try and be up on your hands. So what we're trying to do here is lift the hip up and down. We're not moving the leg. Imagine the leg is just dangling off the hip. So I'm lifting my hip up and down, straight up and down. I'm just going for 10 of these. Imagine like these muscles back here are really engaging to pull that hip up and down. This is a tricky one. I know a lot of people have trouble with it in the beginning. We're just doing 10. And I'm just lifting that left hip straight up in the air and down. My knee and my leg are just dangling. Lower half of the body. So this first one is called sitting floor, and it's an awesome move. If you were at home and you wanted to do this, I would tell you to sit up against a wall. So we're going to pretend like we are sitting against a wall, where our tailbone and the back of our head are against the wall. So we're not slouched. We're rolling our hips forward and we're completely straight up. So you can use your hands as a kickstand to do that. The whole point of this move is to flex the feet and engage all the muscles here. We're trying to curl the toes back at the shins, and we're trying to keep straight at our knees. So for some of us, just getting straight legs is the move. It's a stretch, just to be able to sit up and have straight legs. So we're holding this the whole time as I'm talking. One of the things I used to do when I first started this move, keep doing it, is I would just curl in with my big toes, or some people might do the opposite. We want to curl all 5 toes evenly, as if you're standing on the floor and your feet are flat. You might get to the point where you're curling your toes and your heels lift up off the floor. And that's kind of the goal of where you want to go with this. But just feel the muscles engaged from the bottoms of your feet all the way up, You should even feel it up here in your hip flexors. Use your hands as a kickstand. The feet, you can pull them a little wider so we have room, but we're gonna flex the feet, engage the muscles, and we're gonna roll out and in. Out and in. Yeah, it's a very nuanced move. You want to think about the bone, the thigh bone, just twisting in the hip socket. And you want to stay seated tall. Feet are still flexed, toes are wider position. Tall in our spine, our hips are rolled forward, feet are flexed. Same movement in and out, we'll try and do 10. Flexed feet. So make sure you're curling your toes back at you, your feet are flexed. Good, a couple more. Toes of one feet, heel of the other foot. Going back and forth, trying not to roll out or in on our feet in any way. Comparing it and taking note to how this compares in your natural gait. Even after this class, now that we did this, kind of pay attention to what you do and see if you're rolling off in any way. That's a compensation in your body. Your body's moving in a way because it doesn't feel comfortable. Strap, we'll go ahead and use our strap. So we're on our bellies and our toes are touching, kind of like a pigeon toe with the toes. The heels are relaxing out. And then we're going to hold, just like when we were standing up, we're going to have a wide grip on the strap. Our gaze will be down, and we'll lift the strap and pull towards our chest, and then come back out and down. Let's just do 10 of these. And where I want you to feel and you can just pull your feet up towards the top of your body. Now, I'm going to let you call this and take it on your own. If you feel you need more of a calf stretch, you'll want the strap up by the ball of your foot. So we're going to run through that exact same thing again, but it's just opposite muscles to keep the balance in our body. So when my strap is around my legs, just above my knees, I still have fist width in between my knees. And when I pull apart, the strap doesn't loosen. We're going to put the block in between our feet when they're flat on the floor so that I can squeeze from big toe to heel, all the way up the center. Once again, you have the option of either pushing and pulling and releasing for 20, or you're going to keep the hold and lift and lower for 10. So here we go. Pick your level. Lifting and lowering just incorporates your core muscles more. But if you want to focus more on balance and stability with your legs and feet, just keep it the pulsing. Up and over. If it's too much to get up and over, just tiny lifts is fine. In this one, you can stay with the hands as a kickstand, but I kind of like to hold on to my other knee, just really stay tall in the spine. That's the main thing. We're keeping that flex on the extended leg, and we're just going to lift up and over. We'll do 5 times on each side, so 5 up and overs or 10 mini lifts. Make sure you're sitting tall so that you're working the quad, the hip flexor, the whole front of the leg as opposed to the abs. And one more. All right, good. Before we move to the other side, we're going to take our twist. So you can either keep the foot on the inside of the leg or you can cross it to the outside. So it's opposite elbow to opposite knee. And we're just going to twist looking away from that bent knee. Now, if you were one of the people who stayed focused in the beginning when we did our twists, maybe since you're sitting, try and take your eyes and look in the direction that you're twisting. See if that allows you to twist even further. While you're here, just take a moment to check out your posture. Is your shoulder creeping up to your ear? Pull the shoulder down. Roll up roll your hips forward. Long spine. On the exhale, and we'll switch sides. So now I'm squeeze my other leg into my chest so that I can sit tall. I'm flexing the extended legs, foot, and I'll use my block as something to get up and over. So here we go, either 5 up and overs or 10 mini lifts. Try and make the brain body connection of where the work is being done. So it's the quad muscle, the hip flexor muscle, the front of the thigh, and the front of the hip. Slow and controlled movement, so we're not using momentum and flopping around. We want to use our muscle to control the lift and the lower. I've got one more. Okay, we're going to take the twist on this side. So again, make it your own, wherever is comfortable for you with your foot, and then hook that opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Kickstand the other arm behind you, and really try to push into this twist. You can twist and see how far you can go, and then come out of it a little, and then use your eyes, just to show how much further you can get when you look with your eyes too. Once again, you can take that pelvis and roll it forward, pulling that shoulder away from the ear. That's the kickstand shoulder. Finding length in the spine, even in the twist, and then breathing into that. Straddle, but with bent legs, so it's a little easier. So if you want to kind of turn so your legs aren't on the hardwood floor and they're on your mat, that's a good idea. My calves are coming straight off, so it's like a 90-degree angle here, and my feet are flexed. So you want to feel that stretch in the inner thigh, but we don't want to go so low in the stretch that we don't have any mobility. So you can kind of make sure you have movement, because we're going to start lifting our heels, our feet in a second. So feel the stretch, and then with our right foot, it's flexed. We're going to try and lift it up for internal rotation of this hip over. We'll just do about 8 of these. Slow and controlled, going for reps as much as range of motion. Just see where you can get. Notice the muscles that are firing off in order to lift your foot up. Good. Last one. Other side. So we've got a flexed foot. Now we're lifting the left foot up and down. This is difficult. Everyone's doing an awesome job. Notice this side compared to the other. Notice what you feel in your body. Notice the muscles that you need. And I'm just lifting that left hip straight up in the air and down. My knee and my leg are just dangling. With the strap around our ankles laying out long. We're going to finish this series with the block in between the flexed feet. Just gently squeezing on the block. Everything else is kind of melting to the floor. No tension in the neck or the jaw. Sending ourselves back into a child's pose. we were just compressing the lower back, and so now we are expanding in the lower back. So try and breathe your air into that area, the back of the head. Let your head fall heavy. And whatever position is comfortable for you, if this is uncomfortable with your knees closer together, you can take a wider stance in this. And then exhale through the mouth. Once again, in through the nose. And this time, try and breathe out even longer.